Okay, so in the last video we talked about the type of creatives and kind of like the mindset that you need to have in order to really understand the type of user and how the user's feed looks like, which is the biggest thing. We talked about some Spark ads and when and how they look and what their limitations are and when I do not use them, which is when I want to use any type of like dynamic creative tool like SPC. We talked about the difference between SPC and normal campaigns, and we talked about some bidding settings. In this video, I want to talk about kind of like dig deeper into the more technical stuff of what I do. So the first thing I want to say is that when I test SPC campaigns, I know that there is a big discussion when it comes to the number of ads. Some people really like to test a very short or small amount of videos, 2, 3, and some people like to test 8 to 10. At the end of the day, it's a combination between how big the audience that you're targeting, how big of an appeal in terms of the audience that you have. You know, if you're targeting a very, very small niche, or maybe your product fits everyone potentially. So that's the two things. And then you have the daily budget and the amount of money that you're willing to lose, because at the end of the day, if you have more combinations between ad texts and videos, then you need more time for the system to really get clicks from everything and really determine who the winner is and optimize. And then you have what we talked about in the last video, which is, are you using Spark ads or not? Because if you do not use Spark ads, then you have a bigger combination between the number of headlines, the texts that you're going to use, and the videos. And on top of all of that, there are other stuff that you want to test. So if you're testing, for example, pre-landers, advertorials, or funnels, then you want to make sure that you get enough clicks. And then there is another discussion whether you're gonna open up SPC only when you have the right funnel and after you optimize and after you tested a bunch of different campaigns, or you're gonna open up SPC and test and let the system optimize with you. It's you know, some people like doing it that way and some people like doing it the other way. I personally like firing the big guns when I have that funnel already optimized and I know what's converting best, because I want the system to have fewer variables when it comes to what it's going to optimize on. And my number of ads and just like properties or like settings when I get like an SPC campaign up, I would do 3 to 4 ads max, a maximum of 5k ad spend per day per SPC campaign. And when I say 5k, it doesn't mean that I open up the campaign on 5k. I would usually open up at something like 7 to 10x of the AOV. So if, for example, you have $100 AOV, then what I would usually try and do something like 1,000, maybe 900. I would not open an SPC campaign, regardless of the cost to consumer, AOV, or average CPA that you're getting. I would not open it under $500 a day. And I would also consider that in the first day or two, you're gonna have a much higher CPA or no conversions at all. So some people do not mind spending that 500 or $1,000 on the first day, and some people know that statistically speaking, 90% of the cases where you get an SPC campaign going, you're gonna lose the first day. Then they trim it down to like 200. Depends on the time that you also launch the campaign, you know. And then at midnight or on the second day, they're going to increase the budget. It's up to you. I'm just here to you know, tell you what I do and tell you what I see with campaigns. So I try and increase the budget by up to 20% every 48 hours, and this has been one of the hardest things for me, because even though I've been running campaigns for a long time, I still get very greedy when I launch campaigns, and I still get very excited when I see the first conversions. and it's been very hard for me, and I'm sure for lots of other people as well, not to increase budget and budgets more aggressively. So make sure that you don't do it, because when you do, the campaign is going down the drain. It's killing campaign performance 99% of the times. One more thing that I've been doing that I think 6-8 months ago wasn't really working well, but just like I said in the earlier videos, TikTok is being maturing as an ad platform, and now similar audiences work very good. And I know it's not just working for me. So I would do a bunch of different types of audiences. The first one would be people who purchased. If you have a big enough audience, and by a big enough I mean at least 10,000 people, you really want the seed audience there to be big. So if you have that, then great. If you have the just like add to cart, initiate checkout, that's a bigger audience, then amazing. And then I would do two more audiences that are very good because they are wide. It's easier to collect them, and they're very high quality audiences inside TikTok, unlike Facebook and other places where I haven't seen that great of a success compared to TikTok. So that would be 15 seconds video watch, because anyone that watches 15 seconds is already very interested and deep compared to the average watch time inside TikTok. And the second thing would be anyone who clicked on an ad, which is kind of like the remarketing thing. So you want to make sure that you create similar audiences for that. The big thing is noticing the settings when you get like a similar audience. So you want to omit the seed audience, meaning you're going to exclude it. That's the first option that you're going to choose. The second option would be making sure that you either choose balanced or broad audience. When you create a similar audience, it's going to ask you if you want to do like a narrow audience, a balanced audience, or a wide audience. So you want to make sure that you either choose the balanced or broad, depending on mainly two things. One, the country that you are targeting. Two, how much of refining or narrowing down you're going to do later on. So for example, if you know that you're going to exclude a certain gender, or narrow down the age range into a different age range, then you want to make sure that you do broad, because you're going to narrow down what's already been narrowed down when you choose balanced audience. So make sure that you do that. Outside of that, I really haven't tested Android, iPhone versus all audiences. I'm sure that if someone has a very successful campaign and luck with similar or lookalike audiences, then it's a good decision to test iPhone versus Android. Or if you have that data, for example, if you're using a tracker and you have that specific attribution when it comes to the different segments, Android versus iPhone, and you're getting different results, for example, on iPhone users in terms of the AOV or conversion rate or EPC at the end, then that's a very good decision to test that.